I'm starting a little early, which, if you know me, that probably shouldn't surprise you. I'm really overly excited to be here. So, just going to give it a minute and we'll get going. So, my name is Megan Mays, and I am a lawyer in the state of Minnesota. I wanted to be a lawyer because the rules fascinate me. I wanted to be a lawyer since I was 8, and at my recent 20-year high school reunion, we looked at our old high school yearbook photos, and of course mine said I wanted to go to law school. And if you know me, I'm a little bit stubborn, so I went to law school. And as a kid, I think I always wanted to know why. And the answer, because I said so, never really made sense to me. So I needed to know, what is the source of the authority? I practice in the area of family law. So I help individuals and families, and I represent them in civil matters in the state of Minnesota. What is a civil matter? Well, this group is called Being Civil in Minnesota. So the hope is that this group will be a place to share information about the rules that govern the family systems and the involvement of the court process. When I've been a child and had parents that separated, and I too have been separated. I'm remarried, and we have 5 wonderful children, and we, like every parent out there, we're out there doing our best. And sometimes we need resources, because if you don't know what the rules are, it's hard to even know where to look. The phrase, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Probably true, but what if the horse doesn't know what water is? So this is meant to be a place for you to ask questions, and if you have any questions about the process, I do want to be clear, though, I am not your lawyer. What this is not is legal advice. It's just information. So what the rules are, what the process is, and where you might go. I can't tell you what a judge is going to do, what a judge is not going to do. Just like every profession, these positions are held by humans who are imperfect and doing their best. Going to a judge and making sure that you have the right rules and that the court has the ability to do what you want them to do is always going to make a judge have the ability to give you what you need. So the kinds of things that we can talk about here are, what are the rules governing family law in the state of Minnesota? And you are going to hear a lot of, well, that depends. And what does it depend on? Well, is there a rule on it? And the rules that govern family law are in 518. And it makes a difference whether you're married or not married. And so my hope is that we will have time during these weekly meetings to talk about specific areas like custody or parenting time, child support, who pays the car insurance. For 10 years, I worked at Southern Minnesota Regional Legal Services, or SMERLS, and that's a legal aid organization that provides free representation to low-income individuals in civil matters to help enforce legal rights. And in the state of Minnesota, we have one set of rules, and they're supposed to be applied evenly. And I think knowing what the rules are of the game is going to help a lot of people make sure that those are applied equally. In criminal cases, you have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford one, one will be appointed to you. I'm sure you've heard that on many movies and shows, because a criminal rule has a penalty of incarceration or jail, and so there is a belief that those individuals should be represented by an attorney. On the civil side, that's where we deal with family stuff, and there's not always a right to have an attorney in a family court matter. which can leave a lot of people out there with anxiety about what's going to happen. The process is not fast, so there's always going to be questions about, well, what if I need something now? Courts are not typically in a position to be able to respond quickly unless there are really significant safety concerns. So for 10 years, we worked on high lethality cases in Minnesota. And we did that in 17 counties in southwestern Minnesota, which is about the size of Delaware. So lots of different court administrations, lots of different ways of doing things, but the way that a lawyer fits into the process is there's 3 branches of government, and I'm not going to get into a big deep dive about it, but there's the legislative branch. They make the rules. There's the judicial branch, the judges, and they interpret the rules and apply the law. And then you have the executive branch, which enforce the law. Lawyers have no control over how the laws are made. There's a lot of lawyers that are legislators, just because we're nerdy like that and the rules interest us. So I can't change rules. I can only know where they are and apply them. And so the resources I want to make sure that everybody knows about if you need legal information about what your rights are in the state of Minnesota and what you can do to educate yourself. There is a website called lawhelpmn.org, and they do a fabulous job of putting out fact sheets and pamphlets on different areas of law, family law, immigration law, landlord-tenant. If you have a question about what your rights or your responsibilities are, that can be a really good place to start and get an overview, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. That can be a really good place to start. If you know what the law is and you need to do something about it, or you need to go to, hi Callie, thank you. Callie was around when I launched this idea, and she told me that I absolutely had to do it, so thank you for inspiring me. So the lawhelpmn.org website is a really great place to find free legal information. The other really good resource would be the state law library. The law librarians there are fantastic and can help you find answers to questions if you need additional information. Then if you do find out that you do need to go to court because someone is either bringing you to court or you need to go to court for yourself or your family, then a really great resource is the Minnesota Judicial Branch website. And on their website they have court forms and instructions where you can determine what might be the best way for you to get your issue to the court. That neither of these places are going to be giving any legal advice or giving you the answer. There's a difference between giving somebody information and advice. I can tell you what the rules of the game are, but I'm not going to tell you how to play the game. That would be legal advice. So the Minnesota Judicial Branch will be the place to go when you want to know, how do I take my concern about this legal issue and get it in front of the right person? Well, you would do that by going to court. And you can either have an attorney represent you, or you can represent yourself as a self-represented litigant. Many cases go in front of a court with one or both parties not having an attorney. Hiring an attorney is an investment, but it's a very good investment when you have individuals that are not acting civilly. The court can be a really good place to get a court order to help stabilize and make sure that everybody knows kind of what the rules are for co-parenting or interacting. And now, not everybody follows the rules. And so then the question is, well, what happens if somebody breaks the order? Well, you have the third branch of government, the executive branch, and they are in charge of enforcing it. We have to remember that we are in civil land, so the law enforcement is limited, or any enforcement agency is limited to enforcing, let's just say, criminal laws. And they can't always be the ones we go to if we need help with family law related issues. Most of the time, parties are very capable of keeping the decision-making power in their own hands, but there's a lot of conflict. And I mean, my husband and I, we have 5 kids together, and absolutely, I would, have feelings if somebody was trying to interfere with that. Thankfully, we have some great co-parents, and it's a big team effort. But you have to know who to go to. Who are the helpers, right? Mr. Rogers, he would always say, find the helpers. Well, this is the place where I can maybe help you find your helper. So if you have questions, this would be the place to come and ask them. I've created a Facebook page called Being Civil in Minnesota, and because this isn't legal advice, you can post anonymously. The more broad you can be, the better, because I think people have a lot of similar issues. Every family is different. Not every family is the same, and certainly your story is important to your experience. So that is not to say that it's irrelevant, but the laws are supposed to be applied to everybody, so I want to make this a place where everybody feels welcome, that they can come and ask their questions. And that's my hope. So I will be here again next Saturday with a specific legal topic. If you have suggestions or ideas about what you want to see or talk about, please let me know. This is for you. This is not for me. It's a little for me. I like helping, so I like aggressively helping. So I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Okay, take care.